Action.
Hey everybody, Lee Roth, the Dean King, I'm Dean King Master Instructor here. So today, not only am I filming the class and the module that we normally do for Mobile Tech RX, but we're actually running a live feed on it as well. And then we've got some of our students here. They're going to sit in, and so I'm going to go over everything with them as well, as far as how to use Mobile Tech RX to its potential and to be able to price things. So as a lot of us have talked about within the industry, you know, one of the challenges that we run into with pricing, and we're going to talk about the difference between pricing individual dents and door dings and wholesale compared to hail, which obviously is very, very different. Hail, there is, for the most part, an industry standard that's adopted by the insurance companies and all the different dent companies out there as to how we price things. You know, we use specific matrices that are set up and categorized by the size of the dent, and the way we size dents are dime, nickel, quarter, $half, and then oversized. So anything that's over a size of a $half is considered an oversized dent. Now, once you get to that point, then it's broken down even farther. Panels will be priced based on 1 to 5 dents, 6 to 15 dents, 16 to 30, 31 to 50, and so on, all the way up to, depending on the matrix that you're working at, some of them will go to 250, some of them will go up to 300, just depending on how it's set up. All the different matrices are out there are very, very similar. They're all set up the same way, but you will run into different insurance companies and body shops that their matrices are just maybe slightly different, to the point that like one may have 1 to 5 quarters at $125, one of them might be at $100, or one might be $135. So they're going to be close, but you know, there is a little bit of a fluctuation there. Now, when it comes to individual pricing, as far as individual dents, specific large damage, an individual door ding, stuff like that, then you've got two different aspects of that. We're talking retail, we're talking wholesale. You know, and I hate to tell it to you this way, because there is no good answer for you on this particular point, and that is wholesale. Wholesale truly is going to depend on your market, where you're at, the deal that you get set up with your dealerships. You know, a lot of dealerships will want you to price something to them per panel. Some of them want a price for the whole car. You know, so it's going to vary depending on your location, your area, and just the deal that you strike with that dealer. Now, in the specific area, are a lot of guys able to get $50, $60 per panel for a couple of dents? Absolutely. Some areas, it's as cheap as $30 and $40 a panel, okay? Can you go in and get $150 a car, $250 a car, $350 a car? Again, it's going to depend on your area. There are some stipulations, though, that you can usually put on those packages when you work out a deal with your dealers that you're going to work with. And this is not just dealerships and wholesale dealers, but a lot of times it's body shops as well. You know, don't get that confused. A lot of times the work that you might do for a body shop, you know, they might call you in and just say, hey, can you fix this one door ding for me? I'm painting the back door, but I don't want to have to paint the front door to fix that one dent, where you can do it PDR. That's usually also considered wholesale. Now, if that body shop says, hey, I've got a customer just shows up, can you run over here and take a look at it and quote the customer for me? That turns it back into retail usually, okay? So that's where your pricing can fluctuate there based on who you're actually doing the repair for. Some things that I've done in the past, and this is just me and it's worked for me back in my wholesale market back in Texas, is I would always put a stipulation and a limitation on my wholesale repairs as far as nothing over the size of a business card. So let's say I'm doing $60 a panel, and then I get on this car and I'm going around it and I hit this one panel that's got a dent that's this big around it. Well, that's not included for the $60 per panel. If it was over the size of the business card, we're negotiating the price. You know, whoa, time out. Let's talk about this, okay? And the same thing, hail, even on a wholesale level, hail is always estimated separate. You know, even if it's a wholesale job, I'm going, no, I'm not fixing that for $60 a panel. We're going to talk about the price, okay? And then you can also put a limitation as to how many dents. You know, usually you get in those situations, it's, you know, you're gonna have 2, 3, 4 dents on a panel. Most is usually the way it works in a door ding type situation. But every once in a while, you run into that one vehicle that's just got rash down the side, and you might have 30 dents in a door. You know, it, again, doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And that's when you can put those limitations saying, look, I'm fixing that panel for you for $50, but it's nothing over 5 dents, 8 dents, 10 dents, whatever you work out with, okay? And when that happens, just, hey, this door is chewed up. You know, I'm gonna fix it for you, but I'm gonna need to charge you double for that panel, or whatever the case is. And most of the time you can get that, as long as you establish that relationship with your dealership and your body shop up front, you're usually okay, all right? So that's some basic pricing for wholesale as to how to work out with your dealers and how to talk to them about it. Because like I said, it is rather convoluted as far as trying to get those, you know, situations set up just because it's so different across the U.S., okay? Now, with Mobile Tech RX, which obviously we do represent Mobile Tech RX, it is a phenomenal application. It's industry-wide. Most of the industry has adopted it, and more of the industry is taking it on and using it. And it's growing by leaps and bounds all the time. These guys do a phenomenal job of adding to the program constantly. Mobile Tech RX, and I'm going to give you a rundown through most of it real quick as to how you're going to use it and what it can actually do for you and how it can actually make you more money. Those of us that have been using it for years, I've had it personally for, Mobile Tech RX I think has been around for about 5.5 years now, and I've had it since the beginning. And it's, besides it's grown leaps and bounds, it's helped me tremendously over the years be able to increase the amount that I've personally been able to charge a customer and justify it because of how it works. This system will basically do just about everything for you that you could ever need an invoicing system to do within PDR, short of take payments for you. Okay, that's the only thing it actually doesn't do pretty much at this point. You know, you're still gonna need your ability to, you know, take a check, take cash, run a credit card, whether you use Square or any of the other point of sale systems. It doesn't physically take a payment for you. But that's about all it doesn't do at this point. So first of all, it is compatible iPhone and Android, okay? That is what the icon looks like. So you can go into your Play Store, your Android store, iTunes, whatever, download the app, set the app up, then you'll go to the mobiletechrx.com website. For those of you that are Dean King students, I'll give you the link and we'll put a link up on the video also, where you can get to it through our website for our referral, because our students do get a longer trial than what Mobile Tech gets you. So you go into the backside portal, you set your account up there. On the backside portal, it allows you to upload your logo. It gets you all your defaults. You can put in all your business information, your tax ID numbers, your phone numbers, your shop address, everything that you need to do. And that's all done on the website portal. Everything else is going to be done through your app. Mobile device, your phone, an iPad, whatever. Me personally, I have it on my Android phone. I also have it on my iPad. Sure, what I'll usually do is I'll start an estimate on my phone because I can just walk up to the car, scan the VIN number real quick, get it set in there, save it. Then I'll go sit down in the office, pull it up on my iPad, and I can sit there with my keyboard and blast out an estimate real quick. All right, so this is your home menu right here. Home, clients, estimates, work orders, invoices, statements, reports. Whoops, excuse me. This is a little sensitive. Tutorials, shopping, settings, logout. Under your settings, gives us your information. You can also set up a subcontractor situation. If you have people, you get to a point that you actually have people working for you and you can put techs under you, you can actually add them to your account where they can see everything, do everything you can do, but they can't see what you're doing, but you can see what they're doing, okay? Under resources, just a quick side note for you. Under these resources, there's a lot of information that you can go to. You can look at the Hail matrices, price to net matrices, educational and training things. There's also the OEM position statements that you can look up for all the different manufacturers are built in. So those are actual repair procedures from the manufacturer. Gives you an idea of what the manufacturer says. This is the way you should do something or shouldn't do something. Okay. A lot of that information is built in, and there's also some legal docs in here for you. These are some generic authorization to repair, glue pulling waiver, non-compete, and subcontractor agreements. When I say generic, and I can't print it from here right now, but authorization to repair, it'll basically pull it up and it'll have a blank in there where you can insert your information and then the customer's information, but it gives you authorization with a signature from the customer if you need something actually in writing. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the home. I'm gonna come over here. Now, this is also a full client-based tracking system. You go in and create a new client, okay? So we already have Dean King set up as a client, and if you notice, there's a retail and wholesale section there. You can keep them separate. You can look at all of your clients, you can look at just your retail clients, you can look at just your wholesale clients. You also have the ability, down at the bottom of this, there's a vendor ID. Sorry, this little thing's in the way a little bit. There's a vendor ID. So let's say you're working for a big dealership chain. You know, one of the major manufacturer dealership chains. And they have 5 dealerships in your area, and you happen to have 4 out of 5. Each one of them, you will probably assign a vendor ID to, so you can keep them separate. But when you run the statement, you might be billing the corporate office. This way you can keep things separated like that. You can also go into rates, default everything. As far as taxing items, because like in a lot of states, like in Texas, when I'm running stuff, we tax parts, but we don't tax labor. So I could default, there I can. Okay, well, of course it doesn't work when I'm trying to do it. But I can default that in for a specific client or not default it if I need it turned off. When you're dealing with dealerships or body shops, let's say you've got a dealership that you're working out a deal on their service drive, and they're selling PDR on the service drive for you, okay? You got a deal worked out where they're making 30%. You're getting 70%, right? I can come in here and set up a discount rate. Oh, I know one. Sorry. Duh. See? Tax the parts. I can go in here and set up a discount rate of 30%. And when that invoice prints for this company, it's going to automatically, let's say I charge them $100, it's going to put the charge of $100 minus a 30% discount, which is $30 in that case, and then it's going to net it out at $70, which is what they owe me. So just right there on that invoice, they're going to be able to track exactly what they're doing. It's going to show it on their invoices based on defaults. Okay. You can also add in other contact information if you have multiple contacts for a specific client, and notes. Let me give you a quick reference real quick. Side note. When you get into an estimate or a work order or an invoice, there are 2 of these boxes under notes. One says internal notes, one says external notes. The internal notes stay in the system. It's for your eyes only. Only you can see it. External notes will print on the estimate. Do not, and I'll keep it clean, type in there, customer is a ding dong, because they're going to see it. Okay? Don't do that on your external notes. But if you need to put a note on there, you know, car was filthy when it came in. Whatever the case is, you want that printed on your invoice. That external note section is where you're going to put it. Okay? All right. We'll go back home. Go back home. Never mind. We'll go to estimates. Okay. So, to do a new estimate, super simple. This thing is going to walk you through everything. The first thing that we're going to do is go to new estimate right here. Okay? We're going to select our client. In this case, Dean King's the only one I've got set up here, so we're going to put it under Dean King's name. All right? Now, I have the option of scanning in or printing a VIN. And I just set this up on the TV, so this is going to act funny for a second because there's not a camera built into the back of this TV. But that's what it'll normally show up for you on your phone or on your iPad. If you don't have the ability to scan it like that, and when you scan it, it's going to propagate everything for you, okay? And I'm going to show you this page here in just a second. But that will also read not just the barcode on the VIN plates and the VIN tags on the door, but GM actually uses a QR code, and there's, I think, 1 or 2 other manufacturers that use a QR code as well. It will read the QRs. So it'll read a QR code or a barcode, either one. Oh, I'm live, aren't I? I need a VIN number. All right, y'all bear with me just a second. I don't have a VIN number built into this, so let me get out of this for just a second. And I'm gonna switch to a different system. Bear with me just a moment. Okay. So, I'm going to pull up an estimate that I already have in my system, so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Okay. When we scan in or enter a VIN number, either one, it's going to automatically pull all this information. So there's the VIN number that I inputted into the system. This is an actual car. It's going to automatically fill in all this information for you. It'll also automatically pop up the color chart for you with actual color codes that you can get right off the vehicle to make sure you've got the correct color code. Vehicle type, SUV, trim, engine, doors. I manually inputted the odometer. You can put in the fuel, the license plate number, the state, everything, right? So all of that information is there. If you have additional owner information, this is where, if let's say you're doing a job for a body shop, you're doing the estimate under the body shop's name, but let's say it's an insurance job and you need to have that customer's info on the estimate as well, you can put it right here, okay? Insurance. This is where I would actually go in. I could put their claim number, their policy number, how much their deductible is, date of loss, what insurance company it is, all pre-built in. Insurance company's phone number, email, all their information. Adjuster's name, adjuster's phone number, so on and so forth. You can put all that information in there. Miscellaneous, estimated days to repair, vehicle condition. All the same information that a typical body shop program will give you. Now, I get it that a lot of this information and stuff, someone that's new or just starting out doing some route stuff, it's a lot more information than what a lot of you need. But bear with me on this, because what this thing can do for you is going to be highly beneficial, I assure you. That notes section, there's your 2 boxes, external, internal. Okay, that's what I was talking about. All right, now, couple of notes. Comparative pricing is an add-on module on the pricing of it, but if you look, what's important about comparative pricing is that's actually going to give you the comparison cost of conventional repair. So let's say we're looking at a hood. How much it costs to repair a hood? I can go in here, and on this particular truck, I know that based on the labor rate of $54 per hour, which Texas I can get 50 to 54 depending on the insurance company. When I write something at 54, blending the fenders, because that's a metallic color, so I know I'm going to have to blend the fenders if I replace the hood, is $1,712.20. Automatically tells me that, okay? This little dude right here is real important too, especially on hail, because most insurance companies will total a vehicle for cost factor at 70, most of them are at 70%, a few of them. Basically, if we have an estimate that's over 12,267.50, it's gonna total. That's why that's important. If I'm writing a hail estimate on this car and I'm at 11 grand, chances are I'm safe. If I'm at 14 grand, I know the car's gonna total. Yeah. And then it's up to the customer to figure out what they wanna do with the insurance company, okay? Also look at this. Just more information. The system gives you lots and lots of information on. OEM hood, painted, blended into the fenders, including R&I headlamps and front bumper cover, so forth and so, all the rest of that. So basically what that's telling you is that price, the $1,700 price that it was talking about, includes all of this. It's already priced into that. Yes.
If let's say that it would be 12,000. At 12,000, it's at 70%, and it would be total. So would you know that whenever you're working with an insurance company on the claim, would you know that beforehand, and then in order for you to obviously try to make money, in your price is a little higher or closer, would you bring it down to maybe? I mean, would you be able to play with numbers, wiggle with that, depending on the insurance company you're working with, and would they see that as?
It won't necessarily have anything to do with the insurance company. What I will tell you, and just to be honest and real about it, is first of all, I'm looking at that number as I'm writing the estimate. So as soon as I sit down to write the estimate, I've got a dent count. I've gone through, I've plugged in all my dent counts, and I immediately look over there and I'm looking at what my numbers are coming up at. So I'm comparing notes on that, okay? At the end of the day, it's my business, and I choose to repair something at the price that I choose to repair it for. Do I feel like the cost that this comes up at, and I'm doing this live, so I'm being real here, okay? Do I feel like the cost that this matrix is gonna come up at is absolutely accurate, and that's what the cost should be to repair it? Absolutely. But if I choose to make sure that this vehicle doesn't total, there's some legality issues in there. That's the reason why it really boils down to the customer. Because in all honesty, what should happen is the customer works something out with the insurance company where they're paying a portion, okay? Technically speaking and legal wise, make sure there's no funny business, that car is supposed to total, okay? Now, again, what the customer does with the car as far as totaling it with the insurance company, that's totally up to the customer, but as far as true business and what I need to do for legality purposes, I'm writing this estimate honestly. I'm putting the amount of the damage down. The damage is the damage. I'm not gonna do that any more than I'm the guy that an insurance adjuster is gonna walk into their shop and I'm gonna hand them an estimate for $7,000 when there's actually only $5,000 worth of damage on it. Because neither one of them are right, Is the adjuster gonna absolutely, cut my numbers left and right because he should only be paying me $5 grand? Absolutely he should. And I deserve to get my numbers cut because it's got $5,000 worth of damage. Now, am I gonna ask for $5,001 to make sure I get every penny I deserve for that repair? Absolutely. But I'm not gonna ask for $6,000 or $7,000. Why should I get it? I shouldn't, But on the flip side of that, honestly, it's the same thing. If the repair is $7,000 and the car totals at $6,000, who am I hurting if I do the repair for $5,000? I'm not doing myself any favors because guess what? If the insurance company knows I did that, then I just set a precedence for every other shop out there that they know that, oh, well, we can drop our prices. And I'm not gonna do that to my buddy down the street. That leads us to a quick conversation of that's where our industry is today. Just 3 years, within the last few years, that's not the way this industry was. Just 3 years ago, if Patrick's got a Ford store and I've got the Chevy store next door, and I know Patrick's doing cars at $65 a panel, and I'm doing the Chevy stores at $55 a panel, I'm calling the Ford store going, hey dude, I'll do them for you for $10 a panel cheaper. Why are you paying Patrick $65? That's not the way this industry is anymore. This has become such a much better, closer knit industry. Even though it's gotten bigger, it's gotten closer and smaller. This industry now is Patrick's picking up the phone, calling me, going, dude, you need to raise your prices. I'm getting 65 next door. That's where we are in this industry today. And I've been in it 15 years, and I've seen it change tremendously just in the past 2, 3, and 4. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited and genuinely love this industry, and excited for everybody that's up and coming into the industry, because truthfully, y'all don't know how good you got it. You really don't. Between all the new tools that we have in the industry and the camaraderie that's in the industry now, and things like this that we have to help us, the industry's growing by leaps and bounds, and it's incredible. It really is. So that was just a side note as far as, it really is amazing where the industry is. Okay, so that's just a little note about comparative pricing. So real quick, one more thing here. Photos. Take pictures of the vehicle. It'll automatically add them into your estimates or your work orders for you, saves them into the system, and you can do just the regular panels. It'll break it down all the way around the vehicle. You can also, if you're doing specific like wheel repairs, you can take pictures of all the wheels. And there's also miscellaneous. You can do before and afters, picture of the VIN, odometer, license, interior, pictures of the paperwork, windshield, in case there's chips, or if you've got a busted windshield, which is prevalent in hail repair, things like that, we replace the windshield. You can add all those in. Okay, services. Now, I really should be using a different estimate, but doesn't matter, no worries. So you can see that we've got different breakdown sections here. PDR, hail, price of dent, R&I/R&R. I'll explain the difference. Parts, paint and body, wheels, glass, tint, interior, detail, and miscellaneous. Okay? Now, if you're going to be a one-stop shop and you're doing a total recon and you're doing all of these facets, then you're going to have the ability to do on a specific car. Let's say you're doing some PDR work, you're spot painting a bumper, you're fixing a chip in the windshield, and you're repairing a couple of wheels. You put it all on one estimate, all on one invoice, and it's going to line item it all out for you. I'll show you the estimate when we get done here, okay? Most of these, as far as the body shop, the wheels, these are not predetermined numbers and amounts yet, because that varies so much across the United States. There's no industry standard necessarily. There's flag hours and hours as far as, that industry charges for X on such and such, okay? But that's not built into the system yet. But you can manually input all of that information here, and it still line items everything out for you. Wheels, same thing. You can go in here and let's pick a wheel, and you can go through and specifically select what you're doing to it. Input paint codes, everything. So there's tons of information that you can add into your invoice and your estimate to not only cover yourself, to make sure you've got all the information as far as what the repair should be, but also make sure that you're estimating correctly and charging the correct amounts. Make sure, oh, I forgot that. Darn, I didn't put it on the estimate. Well, you use the system right, you won't forget something, okay? And that's really the same thing with glass, tint, interior, and detail as well. So we'll get to hail in a second, but your thought process is, okay, what's the difference between PDR and price of dent, okay? PDR is what most of us use for individual dent pricing for our wholesale work, or let's say I've got a regular customer that comes in all the time, I've been taking care of their car for 2 or 3 years, and they just pull up and go, Lee, what are you gonna charge me to walk all the way around it real quick? Because I've got a few customers over the years that'll do that. They'll just pull up once every 3 months and go, Lee, walk around it. fix anything that's on it. You know, what are you gonna charge me? I don't know, $400. Okay, do it. You know, situations like that, or wholesale. So we have two different options. You can go panel pricing, where we're specifically going panel by panel. So let's say a right front fender, and I'm charging $175 for that fender. Automatically notated right front fender. Okay? I can then go into notes. These are all preset for you, which you can check off, or I can enter a custom note and go H crease, horizontal crease. Got it. Okay, disappeared. Okay. You know, or I can put a note in there as to what that damage was. The flat pricing, and anytime you flip back and forth, okay, from types of pricing, or you flip back and forth, let's say you were to go into the hail, and I'll show it to you in a second, you change matrices. Anything you've inputted in this section right here is going to zero back out, because you've changed how you're pricing it, so it's going to zero out. Just like that. So flat pricing is, it's going to let me go, okay, Ms. Jones, I'm going to charge you $350 for the whole car, and I'm fixing your left front fender, your left rear door, the right quarter panel, and the right rear door for $350. Instead of going through and adding each panel individually, just lets me get a flat rate. Okay, so it's basically just a flat rate for the whole car. Okay. All right, so price of dent, retail pricing for individual dents. Now, this is something that is absolutely amazing for the industry now, because this is as close as we've ever come to collective pricing or a continuity of pricing across the country. Okay? Because there's never been that before in our industry. There may not even be that on the same street. I can be a mile and a half down the road from my next PDR shop, and I'm charging $125 for something, and he's charging $75. You know, and that just stunk. I mean, it was horrible. It's always been bad for us and been bad for the industry, because you'll have guys that'll do stuff for nothing just to make sure they stay busy, where they should be charging. We should be charging $200 for that dent. But I can't go up from $125, because even though he's doing crappy work down the street, he's doing it for $75. So it messes me up, and I can't charge him. This helps change all that. Okay? So let's say we have a dent on the right front fender. Okay? Somebody give me a size. Pick a number. Pick a size for a dent.
3 inch.
3 inches. Okay. Shallow, medium, deep. Relative depth. Medium depth. Okay. 3-inch dent, medium depth, comes up at $287.50. Now, question is that a crease? Is it a round dent? Is there a paint chip in it? What does the dent look like? See these factors up here? Is the panel aluminum? On that particular one, no. But it might be high strength steel. I'm going to mark high strength steel at 25%. That's my usual markup for high strength steel. Is the dent pushable? Can I get to it? Or am I going to have to glue pull it? If I have to glue pull it, it's 25% markup. Okay? Is it double walled? Is it a crease? Is it a crease?
Sure.
All right. Horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Horizontal crease. This shows 20% on a vertical, 30% on a horizontal. I totally get why there's a difference, because a vertical crease is less visual than a horizontal crease. Horizontal creases tend to stick out like a sore thumb a lot more. I just tend to upcharge 25% for both of them. That's just me. You know, in your business, you do what's comfortable for you and what works for you. body lines, obstructed damage, edges of panels, exotic paint finish, non-factory finish hasn't been painted. Okay, that can be an issue. Does it have Bondo in it? All those factors come into play when we do a repair. Does it have laminated glass, or is it tempered glass? You know, that's going to be a factor when I try to go down in the window to fix that door, which in this case I know it's a fender, but you get my point. Is there a sound deadener? On and on. All these different factors. Okay? So with the upcharges that I just wrote, we're at $431.25 for a 3-inch crease. Okay? That's what body shop charges to paint it. We're half. We're a quarter of the time. And we also didn't devalue the car by putting paint, filler, and 2 weeks sitting at the body shop. Okay? So that dent right there makes you $431.25. And a 3-inch crease, all 5 of y'all, by the time you leave here, we'll be able to fix that dent. Now, are you going to fix it in 20 minutes? No, but you're going to be able to fix it then. Okay? So, and you can do that, just so you see, any size dent. Okay? So you look at a 10-inch dent, yeah, guess what? You fix that quarter pan, that fender, and paint the fender, still $994. You get that big of a dent on it, but let's say you got a 2019 Lexus, you got a $70,000 car, and they're like, well, I can get it painted for $994, but you're charging me $930 for it. Yeah, but you want to paint that $70,000 car or make it into a $60,000 car just by painting the fender? And probably having to blend that pearl coat into the hood? This is where PDR comes in. This is the reason why we can knock it out of the park for our customer. Okay. I'm going to save hell for last. R&I, for those of you who don't know, R&I is remove and install. R&R is remove and replace. Okay. So basically the only difference is you're taking a part off. You're either putting the same part back on, let's say a taillight, you're just putting the taillight back in, or you're having to replace it with a new part. That's the only difference. It's the same thing. It pays the same thing. Inevitably, it doesn't matter. You call it what you want to call it. Most of us call it R&I. Okay? So, every single thing that you do to a vehicle, especially when it comes to an insurance job, or even just a regular retail job, you can justify charging for it. If I have to take out a taillight in order to facilitate doing a repair in a quarter panel, and I have to take the bumper off to get that taillight out, I'm not going to do it for free. I'm a nice guy. Most people that know me know I'm a nice guy. Mostly. But I'm not going to do it for free. You know, so I've got the cost factor of what it's cost to repair the dent. Did I just lose my internet or something? What's going on? But then I've got to add in my time factor for removing the taillight, removing the bumper, all those different factors. And I have no idea why this is doing this. Okay, so while this is trying to play catch up with itself, as you can see here still on the screen, all this is set up in labor pricing. So just like you would use a regular body shop industry program, you can do the same thing here. Taking a hood and a hood pad out from underneath the hood, actually taking a hood off, taking the inner trim panel off of a deck lid, taking the deck lid off, taking bumpers off, taking belt moldings off of doors, taking tail lights out, taking headlights out, you name it, dropping a headliner. If you drop a headliner and the truck's got a sunroof in it, and you need to drop the sunroof down out of the way to facilitate your repair of the roof, it's gonna pay you to drop a sunroof as well. All of those things are built in here. The labor hour rates are built into it. The only thing that's an adjustable factor is what your area labor rate is, which is usually pretty easy to figure out. You can typically just go in and Google, you know, whatever your zip code is. It's 92626 here, California. So you can just go in and Google current body shop labor rate 92626. That's and there's a couple of websites out there, insurance websites that'll pop that information up for you. Okay. Don't be confused with mechanical labor rates. The mechanic labor rate is a much different labor rate than the body labor rate. Totally different thing. Okay. Most mechanic shops, you know, these days are $100 to $125 an hour type situation. We're still in the Stone Age at 50 to 52, 54, somewhere in there. Excuse me. I know I talk a lot, can't help it. Okay, so let me see if I can fix this real quick. Yes, I know, it stopped. Sorry about this, y'all. Technology at its greatest, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so the next one that we're going to get to is hail and parts. Okay, so the parts section in there is actually tied into the same system that all of the dealerships use. So as long as you turn your allowed location on your system, it'll actually pull parts information, pricing, parts numbers, everything right from your local dealerships. Okay. And it's a great system. It'll give you the full part number, the exploded view, and I will show it to you, I promise, if I can come back up. The exploded view that you will see looks exactly like the same system that you will see at a dealership in the parts department. Yay, we're good. Okay, so parts section. So let's say we need a belt molding for the passenger front door. Pretty basic for a hail job, real basic parts. We're gonna go right front door. We're gonna go to OEM. We're gonna go to OEM. We're gonna go to body. And we're gonna scroll up through the categories. And in this case, we're gonna go exterior trim front door. Boom. Same system that the dealership will see. If you pick up the phone and call them, give them the VIN number, and you tell them what you need. Number two, that looks like our belt molding. Belt molding right door, belt molding left door. Chrome, black. Which one is it? Is it chrome or is it black? It happens to be chrome. So we're going to select the right chrome one. Okay, so I haven't set up the location on this, so it's not going to let me select it, but I will show you the one that I already selected. There you go. Pulls up the belt molding that I already added to it. Gives you the part number, belt molding, gives you list price and what cost is at my local dealership based on a typical body shop dealer rate. Right there. When you do an estimate, by the way, the insurance estimate, this is the price that goes on the estimate. You are entitled as a repair facility to make that profit on the parts. Okay? So that's built into your system. Okay?
At any time, will I be able to, let's say I forget to add anything, and I already give the estimate, can I go back to that same estimate and obviously?
Yes, you can even if, and I'll show you what one looks like when you close it, because I can actually sign it in the system. You can still then go back and reopen the estimate and add something into it. The only thing it'll do, if you've closed the estimate, approved it, had the customer sign it, and then close the estimate, which at that point converts it to a work order, which I'll show you. If you reopen it, it deletes the signature, and then you have to reapprove it. That's all. Okay. Okay. It's actually way simpler than what people think it is, okay? Remember I said before that it's all based on dime, nickel, quarter, half dollar over, or over the half is oversized, and then 1 to 5, 6 to 13, so on and so forth, okay? So, a matrix. Let me show you what a matrix looks like. That's exactly what I just described to you. So, panel, that's the hood. Dime, nickel, quarter, half, okay? 1 to 5, 6 to 15, 16 to 30, 31 to 50, 51 to 75, and so on, okay? It looks like a ton of information, and it is, but it's real simple. If you have 68 quarters on a hood, $450 is your base price. It's that simple, okay? The good news is, with this system, you don't have to worry about looking at that chart, because it does it for you. We'll go to the roof. In this particular case, and it was actually higher than that, but I've got 251 to 300 dents written on the hood. About 280 dents, okay? They're all quarter, plus some oversized, okay? Now, as far as sizing it correctly, you're going to use the predominant number size of dents. So let's say you have 200 dents. Let's just make it even. You have 200 dents, 100 of them are quarters, 50 are nickel, and 50 are dimes. Since majority of them are quarters, you're going to write it a quarter, okay? So, we're in the category of 251 to 300 quarters, right there. So the dent count total, that roof writes up at $1,900. I'll show you how we got to the $2,875 here in a second. Comparative pricing, you want to know? Look, $2,726.20 is what it costs to replace that roof. I'm right there, okay? But I'm right there for a reason. So we're back at the dent count, 251 to 300 quarter size. Now we're going to go to add-ons, okay? There are 10 oversized dents. So 10 of the dents out of the 280 dents, at least 10 of them are oversized. They're over $50, okay? So boom, they're $40 each, by the way, okay? So the roof is not aluminum, so I can't upcharge for aluminum. The roof is not high strength steel, so I can't charge for that. Not double panel. I'm not glue pulling the roof. I'm dropping a headliner and I'm pushing this thing. I'm not glue pulling this roof. Limited access, no. Tall vehicle and XL panel. Okay. What denotes an XL panel? So as far as a car goes, the car, very rarely will you get an XL panel. I can't really think of anything these days that's made. There is one new Lincoln that's coming out that might classify to this. If you dealt with a limo or something stretched, yes. But for the most part, on a car, the average size roof is the average mid-size car, which is about what everything is these days. It's not like the old days where you had Lincoln Town Cars, where the roof line, or a Cadillac sedan DeVille, where the roof line's 1.5 miles long, kind of thing. Okay, so it's pretty rare that you're going to get an oversized panel on that. An SUV, a standard roof, is a small to medium size SUV. So one of these that we've got sitting out here, a Kia Sorento, a Toyota or a Ford Escape, a Toyota RAV4, things like that. You get into a Tahoe, a Yukon, a Suburban, different larger SUVs, XL panel. Okay, automatic, 25%. Period. They're more difficult to work because there's more real estate. Okay. Pickups. Here's the fun one. The fun one is that currently pickups are, any crew cab truck is considered an XL panel. Okay? Which is 95% of the trucks on the road today. So all crew cab pickups are XL panels. Now, the tall vehicle can be a little tough. And also, as far as upcharges, now I'm talking about insurance related. Retail, do what you do with your customer and what you can, what you can justify charging to your customer, what the customer works with you with. But as far as insurance company goes, they're not going to pay you a tall roof, an XL roof, a ribbed roof, a high strength steel roof, so on and so forth. They're not giving you 4 and 5 and 6 markups. It's just not going to happen. They should, and we would like for them to, but you're not going to get that many. But there are several that we can justify. A tall roof, I'm short. I'm 5'9" on a good day, okay? My buddy Craig Dyer that I used to chase hell with all the time, Craig's like almost 6'4". No fair. But if the average technician has to get up on a stand or a platform or some sort to work that roof, tall roof, does not have to be lifted. Even a factory ride height. My truck, I've got a 2013 F-150 four-wheel drive. I'm not tall enough to reach that roof, and it's factory ride height. So I've got to get up on a step, on a tall step, to be able to work on that roof if it ever got hailed on. Tall roof. Okay. Your other marked up, again, ribbed roof, sharp dents, sound dampening, laminated glass, everything else that we were talking about. Double oversized dents, body line dents, sharp deep dents, edge of panel dents. There's on and on. A lot of these you may or may not ever use, but you have the ability to add on to them if you run into that situation. Okay? If you are running insurance claims, customer brings you an initial estimate, I can guarantee you it's going to be low. That's just the way the life works. Okay? The insurance companies typically will write the estimate fit somewhere in the 40 to 60% range of what it should be. Just the way it is. Okay. You can do a supplement, so I can turn the supplement on, input what the insurance company paid on their initial, and as I'm doing that, I can also do that from my counts on out here. I can actually input it here that it is a supplement. Okay, so it'll break it down for me and show per panel how much I'm supplementing the insurance for that particular panel. Okay, just break it down tremendously there. Okay, so one other thing I want to show you is if you go into a panel, you can automatically go right here into your parts. You need to add part for that panel. You can also go directly into your R&I page from that page where you don't have to do them separately. So you can go right in there to it, okay? You can also go into add your photos to it. Dang it, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Sorry guys, I knew I shouldn't have hit that button. Anyhow, there we go. See if it comes back up for me. I keep forgetting this thing doesn't have a camera built into it. Okay. One other quick thing I want to show you real fast. We're almost done. So, under the comparative pricing, if you see a blue dot on one of these, there's more information. Let me see if I can find one that's got it on this. No, sorry, I'd have to dig one out and find it. Anyhow, if you see a little blue dot right here, that means there's going to be specific notes about that particular panel on that car, or maybe in the comparative pricing, like it may say add such and such for if there's a sunroof, or deduct such and such if there's a sunroof or so. Most of, and not all, but a lot of the vehicles in the system, most of the vehicles in the system, they've also got x-ray views of them. So they'll actually be the backside of a hood or the backside of a roof. And that when that little camera right there has a blue dot on it, that tells you there is an X-ray view of that shot. Okay, so just a real handy feature to have that you can go in and look at. Okay, so pretty much we're done with our estimate at this point. And all we have to do now is approve it, sign it, convert it to a work order, okay? I personally, unless I'm running a big storm, I typically don't do work orders, but that's just me, because I'm usually a 1 or 2 man show, so I don't really need them. But if you've got a big storm going on or something like that, then I'll convert everything over to a work order where I can assign a technician to that car, okay? But as soon as I assign it, do it into a work order, fix the car, I can immediately convert it to an invoice, print the invoice out, okay? And everything's right there for you. Also for when you're doing dealerships and body shops and stuff like that, all of the estimates, let's say I did 15 cars this week for ABC Body Shop. And I've got 15 invoices under ABC Body Shop. I can do both depending on what they want. I can hand them 15 individual invoices, or I can hand them a statement that has all 15 invoices added onto it, because this will do statements for you as well. You can email directly through the system. You can print it out. I mean, you can do everything online with this. Customer signs it, shoot them an email. You can email that estimate straight out to the customer right there. Any questions? Like I said, there's a lot. Sorry that it's acting a fool on me. There's a lot to this app. There genuinely is. There's a lot of tutorials built into it. Mobile Tech's help desk will help you with anything. Their customer service is second to none. And you can also always reach out to myself or James or any of us here that will help you with something as well. Okay. So guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you all watching. If you do have any questions, please reach out to us. Reach out to us on the 800 number, 1-800-304-3464. Hit us on Instagram at the official Dean King, and hit us up on our Facebook page as well. You can also message me on Instagram at PDR Zenmaster. Hit me on Facebook or any of our groups. Please also go like and follow our YouTube page and watch all these videos that we post on our YouTube page. Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon.